What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Inner Struggles, favorite nerd, and today we are looking at Spark Toys Alpha Pack. Inner Struggles, favorite nerd, War Within. Doesn't forget it. And this is their masterpiece take on War Within Optimus Prime. And I gotta tell you, there's some things about this toy that put me on the right track as soon as I opened it. It just put a good taste in my mouth, so to speak. Between a lot of the pieces, how this comes packaged, there's small plastic sheets. Now, many of you who have ordered import toys and stuff from other, like, quote-unquote real companies know that a lot of times they come that way to protect the paint and stuff throughout the travel. And this was no different, and I don't think I've seen that. And if I have, I definitely haven't seen it to the level that that this company here carried it out. It was very professional. It was very courteous, and it put me on a good path with this toy. Let's get through the review first before we start falling in love too much. It comes with a couple accessories, one of which is this gun, standard Optimus Prime gun. It stows into the back here. There's a little place there. It just clips down in there. And then this piece can also rotate there. And then the gun itself is pretty much just the single cast screwed together with this centerpiece in the center, and then the red translucent, and it looks fine. Could have used more, sure, but overall it looks fine. It also comes with this axe, and I can't figure out a place to put this in alt mode. I didn't see any in the instructions. I did look, for those who think I don't. I did look, couldn't find any. Otherwise, it opens up. These are tight little joints, and I suggest that you use caution, but you can extend this, and then he can hold it as an axe, has the silver painted on there, which looks really good, and then has a blue, like a metallic blue painted in these little seams here, and that looks really good, unexpected and good. So yeah, I don't know a way to stow it in alt mode, but maybe it's there and I just couldn't figure it out. Also possible. I don't care about stuff like that anyway. So rolls like a champ. It gets ate up on my mat here, and these are plastic. Yeah, definitely plastic, but they do have a different textile quality to them than the rest of the toy. It's a pretty good weight. It's not heavy. It doesn't give you that, whoa, this is heavy, but it has a pretty solid mass to it and stuff. I've never heard of this company before, but they're doing some things here right out of the gate. They're impressing me, let alone the packaging, but also, like, there's a metallic finish, like a paint finish on the red. There's a metallic paint finish on the blue. I like all that. I'm looking and I'm liking the chrome underneath, really clean. Got the silver paint on there. No complaints. This blue translucent here on the canopy. I don't know, man. It's a pretty solid effort. There's tiger tracks, so about appropriate. Now let's get them transformed. Before we do, there is one little smudge I noticed right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right there. But outside of that, it was pretty flawless. So to start, we pull these out. They untab from these right chunk. And then you can also untab this. This is one of the places where the plastic was between from the legs. On the bottom side, pull these pieces up here. If you want, you can go ahead and collapse these around the other side on both sides. And then there's like a little push release on these that you need to push in order to bring the legs down. I'm going to go ahead and split these so I can do it one at a time. Good to go. And then you can flip these down as well. You then want to bring it down here on this, which is a ratchet, and as you do so, spin the bottom piece around 180 degrees, and that tab there locks into there. If you please. Solid. And then to finish the feet off, just bring the toes up and back, and there's actually like a little bit of wiggle room up in there to bring them down a taste. And then the arms, which are pretty simple. You can just rotate these pieces down, bring this around. As you do, make sure to slide this piece to give clearance for this to tab in to there. Rotate at the forearm to bring the gauntlets kind of to the outside. Open this up. Flip the fist out, our favorite thing. Twist, close up. So, one more time. Bring these down. bring it around. As you do so, slide that back, tab it in. This one's giving me some trouble. Let's see. There it is. Rotate at the forearm. Open that up. Push this around. Rotate the hand. Close that. And there are your arms. Alright, so then your final steps is this top bit here. And one other thing, because I forgot a step, but we'll get to that in a second. So untab it. Bring it back. You want to bring it back all the way as you can, and this little tab there will go in there, and as you do so, it'll bring up the head naturally, and then this little flap will fall into place. So then open this up, bring this around. It's on a triple hinge system. Bring it up as flat as it'll go up against the back plate here, and then at this bottom hinge on, let me see if I can. So down in there, you want to rotate so that it'll fall right in there, hold everything together, and fall right on his back. The only other thing I forgot to mention was these shoulder pads here are supposed to rotate and come out to the side to expose these yellow bits here. So here, and then there. As you can see, he holds his weapons just fine. If you don't want him to hold them, you can open them up and you can take them out and collapse your axe, and you can come around here to the back and plug in your gun and collapse your axe. And I don't know how, I guess this has to go like this, and now you have your axe and your gun hanging off the back, which I think is a fair way to carry it. I think it's pretty cool. So now let's talk about this guy. Head. We have a blue paint finish on it, a silver finish, a light blue eye paint, and it's on a ball peg, which is okay. Not my favorite, but it's okay. You get a limited up, you get a pretty good down, and the swivel is intact. You also get silver paint on the metallic blue paint on the sides, which looks really good. The paint is spectacular on this thing, I must say. So moving down, we have the same kind of details we've talked about before, including, you know, the wheels are a different, they're like a, I don't know, they're a different type of plastic. It's definitely a plastic, I feel like, but it's, you know, my fingers are so callous, I can't tell, but it's something different. We have this this red, as we saw before, the red paint finish. We got yellow paint in there. We got gray plastic. We got silver paint, this yellow translucent, yellow paint. You can open this up here. There we go. So here and here, and once that's open, you can take a small matrix that he comes with, and it goes up in his chest. I'm not sure if there's a proper way or whatever, but it pegs in, so it's fine either way. I probably did it backward. Nope. According to the instructions, it's forward. It's right. And then you can close this up. Good to go. So that's a cool little feature, and you know, not necessary, but cool nonetheless. So give them the points. Let's see what we got. All right, so moving down the figure, we have this silver paint underneath. Like, it didn't really need it. It's just an accent piece. Like, it's on the bottom of the car and it's on the bottom of the bot, but they still painted it. I love that sort of attention to detail. And then we got silver paint up in there as well. These pieces here, they don't move the most fluid. It's not terrible. Just be mindful of them. But you got a blue finish paint on there and a silver finish paint on there, as well as blue paint here, blue paint there. I think even this white might be painted. Maybe not. I can't tell, but that's how good it is. Really top shelf work in the paint department. All right. So for the shoulders, you can cheat and untab it. Easy for me to say. And get a reverse butterfly joint for pictures and stuff. You can't really, you know what I mean? You can't really cheat it from this angle, but you can cheat it from that angle and it looks cool. but I don't think it's really intended articulation. It's just available to you. You get the shoulder swivel here. You get up to about there, so not the best, but not hateful, especially for a bigger bot. Yellow paint, silver paint, all looks good. Bicep swivel, single jointed elbow. The sculpt carries through, so that's good. You get a forearm swivel, that's relatively useless, and then you get a wrist swivel. Fingers all on a base pin knuckle with the exception of the trigger finger, which is individually articulated per knuckle, all on their own hinges, which is cool. A bot this big, that works really well. And they didn't feel the need to do all of them, and I'm right there with them. Just the trigger finger. I'm on board. Chrome there, silver paint there, unnecessary, but they did it anyway. Alright, same on the other side. I will say that as you manipulate them and stuff, the top part has a tendency to disconnect from the bottom part, but in my opinion, it's small potatoes. Universal joint for the hips, they're ratcheted. Out, relatively limited, but not hateful, to about there. And then forward, if you get this piece out of the way, to about there. And then back to about there. So not the greatest range of motion, but once again, big bot, I'm okay with it because it's a fair range of motion. Once again, we're going to push down that chest piece. Thigh swivel, that works fine. Single jointed soft ratchet knee, that gets you to there. Blue paint there. Tons of paint down in here. We got the lighter blue, the dark blue finish, the silver, so on and so forth. And then we have a toe tilt, a heel spur tilt, an ankle tilt a little, just the slightest bit, and then an ankle rocker that has a really great range. And there's the back. Backpack sits out a little far. You can get it a little closer and, you know, get it. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. Silver paint there on the back of the figure. No other reason for it to be there than to be on the back of the figure. Looks awesome. Silver paint on the back of the shoulders as well. Pressing my buttons, pressing my buttons. Oh. Whew. Alright, look. One more question. And if you can do this, I'll give you a 10 out of 10. Can you make me a sandwich? Size comparison wise, there he is with MP10. And I think he's a good size. I think it makes sense for him to be a little bit shorter than MP10 was. Like, 'cause he was more of a bulky, kind of like stockier, you know, design. I think it makes sense. So I think it's a good size. Final thoughts wise for the negatives. Let's see. There's a few little imperfections here and there. I wish these pieces moved a little bit smoother. That little smudge that I showed you on the red, there's a little silver piece that's chipped right up in there. And that's it. It's kind of all like gamble things. I wouldn't mind seeing a few more ratchets like in the shoulders. Some of the connections I feel like could be a bit more secure. The connections from here to here, they won't pop out like under normal circumstances. It's just while you're manipulating and stuff. It might happen also between the torso and the chest. But I got news for you, Mac. That's it. This thing is pretty close to perfect. Like I said, I still pointed out a few things that I feel like this company could tighten up on, but I've never heard of this company, Spark in the Box or whatever it is, but I'll tell you something, they've got my attention now. I'm a little bummed they're all going to be doing this War Within stuff because I'm not a big War Within fan. I don't really have any connection to it. I remember the comics, I read them and whatnot, but I just, you know, it just didn't resonate with me really. But I think they're doing a Grimlock and a Megatron, all this stuff. Like, if those pieces are up to par with this and you love War Within, I got news for you. Your day's just been made. Because they knocked this out of the park and it seems like they got more coming. Sheesh. Shout out to the War Within fans. You know, I'm sure you thought your day was never coming, but it came. Because this thing is pretty close to perfect. There's more paint on this figure that's also well done than you can shake a stick at. It might have the most paint I've ever seen on a third-party figure. I mean, there's paint everywhere. Everywhere I look, there's paint and there's finishes, and it's crazy. There's different types of plastic that give it a different feel and look, like with the tires, and this is really good. I'm almost speechless. I expected it to be kind of junky, I'll be honest with you, and I'm really happy I got the opportunity to take a look at this. Shout out to Jisk from Realm of Collectors. He's a good dude. They're a good bunch of guys. They run a podcast. Be on the lookout for them. Check them out. They're good. They're a good bunch of guys. But he sent this to me to look at, and it is beautiful. The articulation is great. It's not perfect, but it's great. I don't think it needs greater ranges than what it has, being the size figure it is. You know, it's like I talk about with Marvel Legends, like the Incredible Hulk doesn't need to have 1,000 points of articulation in order to be efficient for what that figure represents. There's tons of sculpted detail. There's tons of mold detail. There's ratchets in good places. I don't know, man. It's top shelf. It's like a 9.8 out of 10. It's really good. If you love Optimus Prime, I recommend him. If you love War Within, I recommend him. If you love cool transforming robots, I recommend them. The transformation is easy, simple, straightforward, fun, and intuitive. I don't feel like I've had a transformation that's been as intuitive as this in a long time. It's not complex, so if you're a guy that really likes complex transformations, this may not do it for you, but it is really fun. Good piece. Strong recommend from me. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.